we'll start with the easy story first. My first flip, I bought it for 12 and 12.5, something like that, with the goal of putting, our original budget was 50 into it, and it was going to appraise for like 95. So not a big, or no, it was appraised for 105. So not terrible, right? The numbers on that work as a burr. Definitely at this point, I would prefer a 50,000 purchase with a 12,000 reno over a 12,000 purchase with a 50,000 reno. That was a lesson I learned. I don't know that I'll ever make it a point to buy a property where the reno costs more than the purchase ever again. But, so we get into this thing and I'm flipping it. I'm in California. The guy that I hired is here, but he's recommended from a couple other wholesalers in town. They've worked with them before. And, being a great contractor doesn't mean you're a great businessman. And there's a lot of stories about that, but this guy was kind of struggling and decided that he was going to kind of start robbing Peter to pay Paul to get the next house done. So a lot of my capital or draws were going towards another house is kind of what I figure.
Wow.
And I was getting pictures of progress, but it wasn't, my wife was going by and she was handing the checks. She didn't know what to look for. And we were just like, oh yeah, it sounds great. What he said in the email is awesome. Here's a draw. And then we weren't inspecting it right. And we weren't doing all the things. And I came home and went to go look at the property. And I was like, something ain't right here. And then the story was, oh, we had $10,000 worth of material stolen out of the house. I'm like, oh, great. Well, show me the receipts.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have them. So I realized, like, okay, I think I'm getting fleeced here. Let's see what's going on. Long story short, I didn't manage the contractor right. I didn't inspect everything before I gave the next draw. And I lost $30,000 when I sold that house. I think I just paid off the personal loan from it 3 years later, like last month. So, I could have paid the personal loan off months ago or years ago, but when you get 20 grand and you have a deal line up, you're like, well, I'll pay the personal loan minimum and I'll buy this next house. And that's kind of how I was rolling. But